All right, I'm recording this video as a personal request to Mohammed Bin Salman, long may he reign, Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and assumed ruler of Saudi Arabia. I did not realize up until very recently, because of Alexi Mostrous' bang-up journalistic endeavor, Who Trolled Amber, I did not realize until I listened to this podcast that Mohammed bin Salman has basically been at the root of the Justice for Johnny Depp movement and basically all of the success that Johnny has had in public opinion and in the Virginia trial. It was basically, it turns out, it was just all Mohammed bin Salman. And so, I've been covering the Johnny Depp thing for 3 years now, and I've just been kind of limping along as a YouTube channel. Trying to figure out, what do I do next? How can I get to the next level? How can I expand my reach? How can I get more people on board? And if I had known the whole time that I just needed to reach out to Mohammed bin Salman, who apparently has a giant piggy bank, a giant fund for pro-Johnny Depp propagandistic activities, if I had just known that that was available, dude, I would have reached out to you, Your Royal Highness, long may you reign, much more quickly than I have. But you can only act upon the knowledge that you have. So now I'm enlightened, thanks to Alexi Mostrous, and now I know how things are working. So I would just like to humbly ask Crown Prince bin Salman, long may you reign. I just want to humbly ask you for, I don't know, maybe a couple of $100,000 over the next year to fund, let's say, two pro Johnny Depp videos per week? Or do you have more of a hankering to just go right at Amber Heard? So 2 anti-Amber Heard videos a week. I don't know. I await your response. The terms are, of course, negotiable. Basically, I'll take whatever you'll throw at me. But anyway, but I appreciate you, sir, taking the time to listen to my business proposal. This is the level of idiocy that we're getting from this podcast, y'all. I listened to it. I could not sleep. I could not sleep last night, not because of this podcast, but I couldn't sleep. So I got up at 5 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, and I thought, okay, I'm going to take a walk since I can't sleep. And I thought, oh, okay, this podcast is out. I'm going to listen to it, or at least the first 2 parts. God help us, there's more. So I put on my headphones and I walked around in the dark, and you should have seen my face as I'm walking. I'm just like, what? Because first of all, the first, 10 minutes of it, it's about that stupid spy who apparently is a Canadian spy, not CIA, but that's that ridiculous spy who sounds like he's phoning it in from his grandma's basement, talking absolute nonsense about strange patterns that he observed in the internet traffic for Johnny Depp, the pro-Depp, anti-Amber internet traffic. I mean, it sounded completely delusional, and it almost sounded like Alexi Mostrous had been punked. I don't know about the rest of the people that he interviewed in that scam of a podcast, and I know that a number of you are going through online and you're debunking them one by one, and good for you, and it sounds completely effing ridiculous. Honestly, it seems like Alexi Mostrous has a cavalcade of ridiculous sources, each one more ridiculous than the last. But anyway, I'm just talking about the first 10 minutes of that thing and that supposed spy. Give me a break. I think that supposed spy is punking Alexi Mostrous. I refuse to believe that is an actual intelligence agent or something. It's just and so it just went from ridiculous to even more ridiculous. And so far there's been no substance there. And I just can't believe, and I said it in my last video, and I'm going to link to my last video below. If you haven't looked at it, you should check it out. You'll probably find it to be amusing and informative at the same time, hopefully. But I talked about this in my last video. There was so much over the course of the last several years, both in the trial, in the Virginia trial, and outside of it. There has been so much solid evidence that's come out attesting to the fact that Amber Heard is an extremely abusive, perhaps even psychopathic, or at least borderline individual. And I talked about all these examples. There's just tons of them, but I talked about some of the main ones that strike me. You can see it in the video below. But I just don't think that people like Alexi Mostrous have really wrestled with the truth here, or really wrestled with those pieces of evidence that have come out that paint a very compelling portrait of Johnny Depp as the victimized one in that relationship, and Amber Heard is the abuser, and moreover, a hoaxer. And they all just seem to, Alexi Mostrous and the people that he quotes in his podcast or interviews in his podcast, they all seem to be just so perplexed. Why is everyone hitting on Amber? Why it's got to be misogyny? No, it's because most people can see that this was a hoax and that she is, I hate to use the term evil because I'm not sure I even believe in evil in the classical sense of it, the spiritual sense, but that is an evil woman. Things that she has tried to do to him and to other people. And I understand that there's some wilder stories that have been spun at times out during the trial and before and after the trial, and that are not verified about Amber Heard. But I'm just talking about the stuff that we have on audio and on video, and that we have multiple solid witnesses alleging to. I'm just talking about Amber Heard's own behavior. We just see the lies. It's just constant lies. I did donate that. 10 million or whatever it was, 7 million, on a TV show, and she's given all these speeches. She's the one who tried to, this is another thing you don't get, Alexi Mostrous. She is the one, before Johnny Depp and his supporters started fighting back, Amber Heard was the one who was promoting this, as it turns out, hoax story that Johnny Depp abused her. She was going around as many outlets as she could find promoting it. It's the op-ed that she wrote that got her in trouble. It's not like she was just minding her own business and got a divorce from the supposedly abusive man, and did try to scam him out of money and then scam charities out of money, but whatever, was moving on with her life. No, she was trying to make this a public platform. And Johnny Depp is just supposed to take it? Because that's what a lot of you think, right? That if a man is getting beat up, metaphorically or actually, then the feminist thing to do is just to take it? Come on. You should be ashamed of yourselves, Alexi Mostrous, not for putting out a podcast, but for apparently not really wrestling with the hard truths of this situation, because you and others like you are so blinded to the idea that a woman could concoct this that a diabolical, I'll give it to her, intelligent, manipulative woman, yes, kind of like a character out of Gone Girl, could in real life try to pull one over on the media and the justice system and the public. But she did, and she almost got away with it. And thank God that there were at least some intelligent people on the internet paying attention, because God knows that none of you in the mainstream media did. So shame on you, Mr. Tortoise. Maybe you need to take a little more time to think about this one.